Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Droid Life Show today. This is episode 111. It's June 3rd. I'm your host, Kellen. With me, Tim. Tim, say hi.
Hey guys, how's it going? Tim here.
So we've taken almost 2 weeks off. We did a special I.O. show, talked about a lot of stuff, and then we just didn't have time for a show last week. So we have lots to catch up on this week because we're about to go through this period of middle of June randomly where we're going to get a couple of new phones, right? We're going to get new Moto products next week. And then the following week after that, OnePlus 3 is launching. It's just weird. It's throwing us off a little bit. I'm actually going to be on vacation during that time, so we'll see how that works. Thanks, everyone, for launching phones in June, which never happens. But we've also got some other stuff to talk about. There's new Nexus news involving Huawei and Sundar and Note 6 stuff to talk about, and Google Home, and now on tap. And there's new Asus phones, and there's even a Batman S7 Edge that was introduced a week ago. So plenty to talk about. We'll try to get through this in around an hour and not keep you guys too long on this Friday. So we wanted to start, though, with Google CEO Sundar Pichai. He sat down at Recode's Code Conference this week, and he talked about a lot of stuff. But what we really care about is the Nexus stuff he jumped into. And it's, I don't know that I would call it controversial stuff, but it's definitely information and definitely worth talking about. So essentially what he said was that they will be... Well, so the conversation went to Walt Mossberg from Recode asking Sundar if they're going to build their own phone. And he didn't even consider the fact that Project Ara is essentially Google building their own phone. But anyways, he went into it and Sundar said, no, we're actually going to invest more effort into Nexus. And Walt thought that meant building his own phone or building their own phone. And that's not what the Nexus program is. And Sundar said, no. We're still working with partners and all this stuff. But what we might do, since we're investing more effort in, is look to do things like, he said, thoughtfully add more features on top of stock Android. He said there's a lot of software innovation to be had. And then he also said we're probably going to be more opinionated about design of the Nexus line. So essentially what he's saying, at least I took it as, is Nexus is more of a focus than it ever has been for Google. So years ago, we talked about Nexus line maybe going away. And now we're at the point where no. Nexus is here to stay. And this is what we're investing heavily in. And we see areas where we can make it even stock Android even better and better by adding on features. And we're also going to be more opinionated on design. Even though Huawei and LG and these companies are making the phones for us, we're pretty much going to tell them exactly what we want it to look like, is what it sounds like. So what did you take from that? Are you thrown off by the fact that he's talking about adding on software? I mean, are we talking about bloatware here? Or are we just talking about we love everything Google does, so we don't care? I don't know. What did you take from that?
Yeah, I mean, I have a really hard time even sort of figuring out what he means when he says like new features on top of stock Android. I mean, I just figured stock Android was just everything that's in the open source project would just be inside. Like, have they just not been including everything that they do for Android on Nexus phones? Like, it's sort of vague. Like, it says a lot, but it's actually vague. So it's hard to, I guess, quantify exactly what Sundar means. Although I don't see it as a bad thing. I will say that I think it's a good thing. I think new features for Android are good. It's just, it's hard to really put your thumb on what exactly he means, right? So I don't see it as bloatware. I don't think it's going to be like third-party jankified stuff. I don't think they're going to be working with partners or anything like that to include other additional features.
They're not going to like preload white pages or something like that.
Yeah, that would be bad news bears.
Uninstallable yellow pages apps and things like that.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, we don't know, right? But I would hope not.
I would hope not.
Yeah. So, very interesting. Maybe they're talking about just apps in general. Like there are certain Google apps that don't come on Nexus phones, like Waze or something like that, where you'll see it in Google Play saying like developed by Google or something, when that's not entirely the case. Technically it is now, but maybe loading up those kind of like third-party options to Google's applications, which would be okay, but then again, doesn't make any sense because I always feel like Google's applications are way better than those third-party apps. Like, I see some Uber drivers using Waze, and I'm like, dude, why aren't you using Google Maps? I don't get it. So because they have the integration, right? So hard to say exactly, although it has me a bit excited, although at the same time a bit nervous. I'm nervously excited for what he means.
Yeah, I think he could just mean, well, number one, I think it just could mean they have other apps in mind that they see that they can add features into, right? Like
Duo and Allo.
Yeah, I mean, like if you think about it, like stock Android I mean, we just consider Google's version of Android, I think, like stock Android in a way. But like remember they decoupled everything like a long time ago. Like the phone app is on Google Play now. So like it's almost like there's stock Android, which I guess could be AOSP, and then Google's using that, and that's what they distribute to everyone or whatever. And they're putting that on the phone, and then they kind of have already been adding on their own vision, right? I mean, like obviously there's the Google apps, and that's part of the package you get with Google Play, like they send to Samsung and whoever else. But like they have their own phone app. It's not that, like, that's not a part of AOSP anymore, right? So maybe it's just like they have new apps that are Google apps that they want to add on. I mean, it's not like this is a skin, right? Like they ship the stock skin. So it's still stock Android in terms of the looks and stuff, but I mean, maybe they just have some other things they want to build in. I don't know. Maybe Daydream is not part of stock Android. I mean, it has to be, but like maybe it's things like that. I don't look at it as necessarily bloatware because I tend to use the Google apps and I tend to prefer like Google's take on it. Like we talk about that, right? Like with Nexus phones, what we like about them, we've said this for years, is we like them because we like Google's vision for Android. And so I guess if Sundar says we're going to invest in new software opportunities on top of stock Android, I guess I'm okay with that because I prefer their vision for Android.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I mean, maybe Android is merely just a skeleton these days, right? It's just it's a big pile of code, and then they give the skeleton to LG, Samsung, HTC, and they say, all right, you fill in the gaps and put on your own skin, whatever. But at the same time, I mean, we see other companies who, at least in the mind of the tech Android bloggers and Android blog readers, they succeed when they remove like those the gap fills and the skins and all that, and they revert that stock Android look, that vanilla look, and we see that as a positive. Maybe Google doesn't necessarily, maybe they want these companies to make it their own, and now they want to make it their own. There's a lot of air quotes going on, and it's just ridiculous.
So many air quotes.
It's so vague. But
I guess I just kind of look at it as they're just going to do more of what they've been doing, because they decoupled it all so they had like their own set of apps and services that they kind of wanted to use with Android. And obviously a lot of those are available to everyone, but they just include those in the Nexus package. And so I guess I just see them doing more of that. Although most of their apps that they create are kind of open to everyone. Right. Although I guess the dialer is not really in the camera app. I don't know. Yeah, I think the camera app is too. I don't know. I just look at them making new apps that they can throw on top.
It's entirely possible. We shall see. One commenter on YouTube says, I trust Google with adding extra features without bringing on the jank. And I sort of revert back to when Google has misstepped in terms of jank on Android. I think it was Lollipop, where it was like a huge, it was just half baked, right? And I think that initial jank launch trickled down to a lot of users who had phones that had third-party skins, and when it came to time to update phones, a lot of people were having issues because Lollipop itself was just so jankified. So hopefully, Google sort of learned from their mistakes. I mean, they put on the Android developer site like, yeah, the things we're doing is removing jank. We're trying to not be so janky. I love that word.
I just love it that Google adopt. I mean, you've been saying that word for I don't even know how many years. I mean, it's not like you invented the word, but like I feel like you've talked about it more than anyone on earth, and all of a sudden Google now saying it. I feel like you and Droid Life deserve some sort of credit for that.
Oh yeah, we coined it. We coined it for Android and at least all the lag and crap.
I would.
Yeah, Yeah, it's a good way to quantify the poor experience with the user interface, jank. So I think it's a good thing. I mean, going back to just the initial point, I think that Google has learned from their jank mistakes, and moving forward, they're not going to build on some bloatware or anything like that.
Not going to sound like this whole package that's a skin that changes everything.
Yeah, definitely not. Although it would be sort of cool if Google had sort of that vanilla Android, but then they had like a googly skin, right? A googly
extra
theme.
Special googly material design skin.
Like it's all white with shades of red, yellow, green, and blue.
Good.
It's kind of like just trickled. We'll see. Maybe it's could be a googly skin.
But the other side of that is the design stuff. And I mean, I've always liked the designs of most Nexus phones. I mean, like the 5X is kind of cheap feeling. But I always felt like they've kind of done well. The 6P definitely looks like a Huawei phone. I mean, don't get me wrong, it has Google, Nexus branding, but it looks a lot like most of the other Huawei phones.
Sorry, I was gonna say, is it a coincidence that the Huawei P6 or whatever this looks like the 6P? Is that what this is? The P6? Is that what they
P9?
P9. All right, so 6P backwards, reverse it.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like all Huawei's phones, I feel like look the same. Like the Honor 5X looks like that phone too, which kind of looks like the 6P. So I wouldn't. I guess I wouldn't be sad if they start actually using their own googly language. Most of the product school designs look fairly cool. Like Google Home, that's definitely a googly kind of product. 6P looks like a Huawei phone with Nexus branding on it. So it wouldn't be kind of cool to see them create phones that really are their own ideas for design. But then, like, why are you having Huawei make them, right? Like if you're going to design the whole thing rather than sort of use their language and tweak it a little bit, why don't you just make your own Nexus and just call it the Google Nexus made by Google? I mean, I know that's not the point of Nexus. They like partnering with people, but if you're going to take more opinion into design, then you might as well just make your own damn phone.
Yeah, definitely. I think the last two Nexus phones that actually looked like Nexus, or at least like Google phones, were the Nexus 4 and the Nexus 5. Everything after that, like the Nexus 6, it just looks like a big Motorola phone, which it was, right? And then Nexus 6P looks just like a big Huawei phone. So you definitely have a point there that Google could, in fact, get a bit more stingy or a little bit more involved with the design, which would be good. I mean, the Nexus 4 looks like no other phone on the planet, right? With that back sort of awesome design and stuff, all glassed out, that cracks super easily. Definitely cool. And so that would be good. I think that'd be a good step. Although we don't want like a Pixel phone, right? That costs $800.
Right. That's the other thing, right? We don't want that either. So
yeah. So I mean, that would be awesome. But
yeah, Pixel phone would be fine. But all right. So in sort of related-ish Nexus news, Huawei's Richard Yu sat down at a conference, I believe in China, and the Wall Street Journal ran an interview with him. And he essentially said that we're going to have a Google's Daydream VR ready. We'll have a phone that can take advantage of that this fall. He didn't necessarily say anything about Nexus, and we already knew Huawei was a partner of moving forward with Daydream. So we knew they were going to have a phone, but he said this fall. And then basically on the same day, the general manager of Huawei's consumer division down in South Africa told Gearburn, sorry, Gearburn, I don't necessarily know who you are, but you must be South African media outlet, I would guess. It's South Africa. But she said to them, by the way, we're making another Nexus this year. So
what a fail.
Yeah, I don't think the general manager of Huawei's consumer group in South Africa is supposed to be outing those plans, but she did. And so it's just, it's probably not a coincidence, or it probably is a coincidence that just happened to, be on the same day. But so Richard Yu said, fall, we have a VR phone or VR ready phone coming. And the general manager for them says basically on the same day that, hey, we're also making another Nexus this year. So I don't know that means Nexus phone with VR. She didn't say phone, and we've heard all these rumors that HTC's making Nexus phones. So does that mean Huawei's making Nexus tablets?
God, I hope not.
I mean, we really don't need new tablets. I think we've talked about this a lot, right? But
yeah, Well,
But
maybe
they have to make a tablet because they're doing multi-window and they're trying to make Android better on tablets, which they're like 4 years too late on. But I feel like there has to be a tablet.
Yeah, they could be making a Chromebook or something.
A Nexus Chromebook. I mean,
Yeah.
you could now.
Yeah, that'd be kind of Nexus.
I don't really know what to make of it. I mean, would you be fine if Huawei made another Nexus? I'm certainly fine with that. I like
sure,
the 16.
why not? Make it just like the P9 and take off the dual camera or whatever. You know what? Just have one camera and make it a monochrome camera. Don't allow for color photography. And
black and white only.
This phone is legit. Like I've played, well, technically I played with it for 5 minutes, but the software is so terrible. Like I'm not going to put a SIM in it. I refuse. So make it just like this. And
same size and everything.
Yeah, same size, same feel. Everything feels super preem.
Oh,
but,
yeah. I mean, I actually did use it for a few days and I wanted to love it so much. Like in hand, I was like, this is the phone I want in my hand all the time. And then the software just crapped all over everything and I couldn't handle it.
Yeah, software is so bad. I'm actually, after the show, I think I'm going to take a stroll through XDA and see what I can do about it. Have you looked into that at all?
Yeah, no, I actually did. Because I said, if I can hack this damn thing and put some sort of stock Android experience on there, it will be a phone I will probably use right now. And the problem is it's running Huawei's Kirin processor and there's like no drivers for it. And so developers can't do anything with it. So, So yeah, you're screwed. So Huawei, apparently there's not much of a ROM community because Huawei is like closed down everything you possibly wanted to make a ROM with. Yeah.
That's a bummer. That's a misstep on their part. Yes. Oh, well, I mean, they know that a third-party ROM community is what drives their sales, right? For anything.
They clearly don't know that yet.
Welcome to Android.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll be the next one. Because remember, it was Samsung forever. People used to cry at Samsung for not giving drivers or whatever and blah, blah, blah. And I think Qualcomm even went through it for a while. But maybe the next will be Huawei. Everyone will be like, dude, we want to hack your phone. Will you do this? And maybe they will. Yeah,
well, I mean, 2 years ago, Huawei was but a footnote. But now they're blowing up. So they might want to start thinking about it.
They probably can't, though, open up all of that because then we'll figure out that they really are spying on us.
Oh, my. Okay, shots fired in the dark. So, yeah, but to your point, yeah, I'd be totally down with another Huawei Nexus phone. Although, I mean, all the rumors would suggest that HTC is planning on one, which I don't know whether I like that or not. I have been using the HTC 10 now for quite a while. And it's nice. But at the same time, I feel like I might go back to the S7 Edge. I sort of miss the camera on there. The camera experience, not all that groovy. Although the battery life is, I think, a lot better than what I had on the Samsung phone. So we'll see, right? I mean, first world problems. I don't know.
Sounds like you're feeling kind of like me. Like I remember the HTC 10 and doing the review and going through the whole review period. I was like, this is a really nice phone. But there was something about the S7 that just kept pulling me back. And I even picked up the 10 again a week or so ago, and I just basically put it right back down. Oh, no, I brought it with me to I.O. because I was like, oh, the S7, maybe the battery will die in the middle of the day, and I'll just swap over to the 10, and I never turned the 10 on. So, anyways.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to touch on a comment that was made inside of the chat. Totally, it's unrelated, but is the Huawei watch still worth getting? It's so pricey. So I think the price is still like around $350 for just the basic model, which is stainless steel, black leather bands. I would say, no, it's not worth getting. So we have no indication from Huawei if they're going to be launching a Huawei Watch 2. I think that they made too many SKUs, in my opinion. So the watch ranges from $350 all the way to $800 for the all rose gold one, which I rock from time to time. But too many SKUs, so they might have to scale it back a bit, maybe have 2, 3 tops. I mean, you can't, you're not going to expect to just go through all these watches. Right now, they have 2 more SKUs, which are intended just for the ladies with the jewel and the elegant. So they've got all these different models. I don't know what exactly they were thinking, right? Because this is their first Android Wear watch, yet they're just balling out. They're like, you know what? 10 models of Huawei watch, jam it down their throats. America loves us.
I'm on the Amazon listing for it. So you can get the cheapest one with the black leather band is discounted to like 320 on Amazon right now, but yeah, normally 350. Yeah, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They have 10. There's 10 versions on Amazon you can buy. That's nuts. I mean, I know with the Moto 360, right? You could customize it, so technically they have.
But that's technically like one SKU though, or two, because they've got the bigger one, this 42 and the 46.
Yeah.
So to me, that's two SKUs. But here they definitely got a few.
And I'm with you though. I don't know that I would tell you to, unless the Huawei watch drops to like $200 or something. I don't know that I would buy it because it seems like they should maybe have a new version coming soon. I mean, we have to keep in mind is Android Wear 2.0 is coming, and I would imagine Google probably wants some people to launch new devices when 2.0 comes out, which is not coming out until later this year in the fall or something. So if you haven't bought one yet and there's not a screaming deal, it seems like you should probably wait till this fall, till 2.0 comes out to see if everyone just goes, new watches for 2.0.
Right, absolutely. If you start seeing the Huawei watch coming down in price significantly like that, maybe as if Huawei and Google are clearing space, clearing shell for a new watch, then maybe that could be your first indication that a new Huawei watch is coming. Now, with that said, so I would say stay away from the Huawei watch at this point in time. $320 is way too much for just a black leather stainless steel watch. It's really boring looking, in my opinion. So stay away. Maybe if it hits $250, $199, then you can really start to weigh your options. But for now, I would hold off, my opinion.
Yeah, I would too.
My opinion is gospel.
So one last Nexus note. We ran a question this week and basically just asked why you aren't buying Nexus phones. And look, we know a lot of our readers do because they're Android fans, so they want fast updates. We talked about the reasons we would typically choose them, but there's also obviously a bunch of you that don't. You buy Galaxy S7s, which is fine, Moto Xperia, HTC 10, whatever. So we're just curious. And it was crazy because within like an hour, I think there was 300 comments. And as of right now, there's almost 650 just for one question. And so we're just curious. And let's see. I mean, the first one says because there's a lack of cases. Someone said it's a money thing because you typically have to buy them full price, right? So a lot of people buy phones still on monthly payment plans, things like that. And if these things aren't sold through carriers, that isn't an option. And so like there's a really good deal today on the 6P where you can get one for $420, but it's still $420 you have to shell out for a phone, which a lot of people don't want to do. Somebody said the hardware never impressed me. Oh my God, some guy's still using a Nexus 4.
I mean, SD card slot, better screen, better camera on Samsung phones, the water resistance. Come on, dude, it's not waterproof. And then the biggest feature I've come to love is Samsung Pay, which is that's a good one. If you have a bank that supports it. I have no bank. I've got like 3 banks. None of them support it. It's total garbage.
Yeah. One guy said not on Verizon. So the new ones do work on Verizon, but for years that was definitely a problem.
Right.
A lot of people just want Google to sell them on a payment plan and then they would buy them. I'm actually kind of surprised Google hasn't figured out a way to do like a Google payment plan for Nexus. If they're really serious about Nexus phones,
they're not.
I think they should do that. I know, but Sundar just said like we're investing more.
Sure. That's a possibility. I mean, Motorola started doing that, which was really cool, and that's how I think one of our friends got the Moto Xperia edition was on a payment plan. So it makes sense. But then again, Google has never taken the Nexus program, at least very seriously. But now maybe with that, revamping of the seriousness, we could see a payment plan. I don't like that, right? Like it better be interest free for 2 years or something like that. I mean,
yeah, I think it's how Motorola does it. I think they give you like 18 months free, no interest, as long as you pay it off. Then they probably
which is good.
You, but if you don't, but
yeah, 50%. But I would hope so. I don't want that scummy type of stuff going on. Interest
which
rates,
is why I would hope Google would hopefully do it properly and not just scam everyone.
Definitely. So there's plenty of reasons not to buy a Nexus phone.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I mean, I don't use a Nexus phone right now and I'm living just fine. HTC's software has gotten a lot better. Samsung software has gotten a lot better. And that was usually the reason I stayed away from those third-party OEM phones. So things are just getting better for the Android platform in general. Things are better.
Yeah. I think
So
a lot of people in these comments are just saying because I buy my phone through my carrier still and they're not there, and the financing issue because I don't really want to just shell out $500 for the top tier Nexus. I totally get that. Totally get that. So there you go, Google. Well, I don't want Google to sell them at carriers because I don't want Google. It's because the last time they did that was the Nexus 6 and they had to price the thing at $700 to make carriers happy. And then they sold 10 of them. So stay away from that. But Google, if they just offered a financing plan, like the Google version of a financing plan, I think it would totally make sense. Actually, they don't do that through Fi, do they? If you sign up for Fi and get a phone, can you do a monthly payment plan?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you do. I can't confirm, but I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happens.
Like I know you can buy it through Fi, but yeah, can you just set up a monthly? I don't know. I guess I haven't.
I think that the price of the phone goes towards your monthly rate. That's easily Googleable, so someone could Google that. But I'm pretty sure that's what happens.
Right there, Eric Ortiz says Fi does device payments without interest. There you go.
There you go. So what I'm thinking that even a more googly way to finance would be, you've got your phone, make payments on it for 2 years, and then they just forgive the loan, and then you just have the phone. I think that'd be fine. I mean, it gets more phones out there. That's more activations for them, increases the numbers of the platform. Very googly. And then they're basically selling the phone at cost, which, I mean, come on, this is Google. That's fine. So 2 years of payments, rest is forgiven, period, be done with it. That'd be cool, in my opinion.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they would do something like that for sure.
Yeah, not going to happen. But,
come on, Google. Oh, well, if they're doing it for Fi, then we just need them to open it up to everyone else that's not on Fi.
Right.
Because I'm sorry, Google, not everyone wants to be on Fi because not everyone lives in a city.
Damn it.
All right, so moving on from Nexus stuff this week. Well, I shouldn't say this week you did. Like a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if we can actually say that, but anyway, Samsung announced 2 new products this week, which we knew were coming because they've been leaked time and time again, the Gear Fit 2 and the IconX earbuds. So you've actually had some time with both of them. Do you just want to talk about each of those, what you think, what they are, all that stuff?
Yeah, I actually have the Gear Fit 2 in my hands. I received it this morning, but I won't be reviewing it because I'm sort of lazy, and I don't think there's an activity tracker for Call of Duty. So I'm going to be handing the Gear Fit 2 over to Kellen, and he'll be reviewing it.
Hey.
Yeah, so hopefully he gets it out sooner or later. I don't know if anyone.
I don't know why I'm excited because I trashed the first one so badly, but this one looks cool. Anyway, you talk about it.
This one, from the experience I had, is way better than the OG Gear Fit, which was released in like April 2014, I believe. So they've had 2 years to work on this thing, and from what I saw, it was I can't say like really good, but it was much better than the first one. So Super AMOLED display, which looks nice. I mean, it goes into the strap very nicely. If you know the design of what we're talking about, then it's as if the curved display sort of melds into the band itself. And the band, sort of similar to what you'd see like on a Fitbit. It's like a hard rubber, but it's still pretty, I want to say like elastic or bendy, but it's definitely not sticky like the one you would find on the Moto 360 Sport. So, but the big deal, at least for me, and I talked about this when the first one came out, that the Gear Fit 2 is compatible with any Android device running 4.4 Plus, which is huge. It's not just limited to the Galaxy smartphones like the old one was. So anyone who has an Android phone basically running 4.4 Plus can use it. And there's a ton new activity trackers running, swimming, because this thing has IP68 water and dust resistance. So you can pretty much do any activity, biking, lift some weights. During a few of the examples, they showed us during the media event, they had someone like on a treadmill, and they told me I was going to have to be on a treadmill. Thankfully, that was not the case, and I didn't have to do any physical activity. I'd have had a stroke right there. But another big one is, so the first one only allowed for 10 different notifications, and from the stock Samsung applications. This one will show you any notification that you have on your phone. In addition, you can store offline music. You can cache. I think it's up to like 1,000 songs. And so if you have like Bluetooth headphones or earbuds, like the IconX earbuds, stick those in your ear. You can play your music. You can leave your phone at home. It's got GPS tracking, so when you go for your runs, you can have a cute little map of you going around Central Park and then post that on Facebook, make all your friends jealous or make them hate you. What else? I mean, there's so much stuff. It's got an Exynos processor.
Yeah.
Oh, it's packed. Oh, there's like a very special custom built Spotify application.
That's right.
Where they've worked with Spotify to bring forth special workout playlists. So as soon as you open up Spotify, there will be playlists for you to use depending on what it is you're doing. Like, give me a break. So, I mean, Samsung definitely balled out. And this Gear Fit 2 only costs $179, which seems like a steal, right? Like you don't find a device like this. I mean, unless it's maybe from Garmin for like $300. So it seems pretty good to me. And it launches. It's already up for pre-order. Amazon, Best Buy, Samsung, Dick's, Sporting Goods. There's one other, but $179, and then it launches on June 10th. So hopefully we can get the device over to Kellen, and he can sort of have it up in time so everyone knows if they want to go into a store and pick one up. It was definitely cool. Like the UI was not super janky or anything. Like, it flips through screens very fast. It's got the Exynos processor, only 512 megabytes of RAM, but still it seems snappy enough. And I mean, really, it's just a wearable fitness tracker. You don't need a ton. They said it can track your sleep. Although in the press release, once it was finally released, it didn't mention anything about sleep tracking, but they said at the press event, it'll track your sleep, wear it day, night, in the shower, whatever, man. You can wear this thing all day. The battery, 200 milliamp hours, but will last 3 to 4 days, which is much better than an Android Wear watch. So, I mean, it seems pretty cool to me. Like, on paper, for someone who wants a fitness tracker, this would be the one. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one drawback is it's not tiny, right? Like, it's sort of thicker. I mean, I think the design looks way nicer than previous version. And I mean, like, this is the Fitbit Alta, and it's kind of big in itself, and it's like $120, and it doesn't do any of the stuff you just talked about. So at $179 though, even if it is a little thicker, it seems like, and like I said, I trashed all over the first version because I thought it was garbage. This one, I'm actually kind of excited to try. And look, I try most of these fitness trackers. Like, I'm on the Alta right now. I use Jawbones forever. I'm using a Garmin actual running watch now, which is probably what I'll use forever going forward for running. But for fitness tracking, sleep tracking, I'm totally going to use this thing and go full into it because it seems to have like all the stuff I would want.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, go for it.
I would say I only suggest that make sure, just to get the full experience, make sure you're using a Samsung phone that has the S Health app, install. That way you can take advantage of all that.
I think you can download that on your phone now.
Oh, really?
I think it's opened up now because they probably want to.
Yeah, it shows you how much I hate S Health and just the idea that there's an entire like fitness app from Samsung. I just think that's ridiculous. I would use Google Fit personally, but
I'm just looking, but yeah, it looks. I think S Health's been opened all the way up. Yeah, I can install it on my 60. There you go. Yeah.
So we've got the large. It comes in 2 models. The last one only came in one size, but this one does come in a small and large. We've got the large in blue, and it looks pretty good. Although I will say, so the packaging, this is the top, this is the bottom. The device itself is faced like the sticker it shows to kind of show you what the screen will look like is upside down.
Totally is,
and that really grinds my gears.
That means they probably took it out, or are the stickers like sealed and shut? Because I was gonna say almost like they took the review unit out to do something to it before they.
This is definitely. Oh wait, no, this definitely looks unopened.
Yeah, okay, that's really funny then.
Yeah. Unless they retaped it, which would just be ridiculous.
All right, so let's talk about the other item because I think people like headphones.
Yeah, well, these are earbuds.
That's true, they're earbuds.
So they are true wireless Bluetooth earbuds, and they connect to any Android device or any smartphone, tablet, whichever device has Bluetooth. They'll work just fine. So the Gear IconX, first of all, I don't know why they had to call them Gear earbuds. I didn't really understand. Like, I get they do offer fitness tracking due to the fact that the earbuds have a heart rate monitor built into them. So really, you don't even need to take a smart band, your smartphone, or anything with you because the earbuds also support offline music playback. So
They do steps, heart rate, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, they do all that stuff. They do like distance traveled tracking. They don't do GPS, but they can track distance. And so when you say, let's just go walk through the experience. You've got the two earbuds. You have a controller bud, and then you have sort of like the submissive bud, I would say. Stick them in your ear, and you'll hear a beep. And thanks to the heart rate monitor, it can tell when you put the earbuds into your ears. You give them a little tap, and then a single tap will just start a workout process. And you can scroll through on a flat piece of the earbud on the outside, and that'll get you through the different menu options. And they have a voice guide, which allows you to know what it is you're about to select, which sounds pretty good. And if you long press, you can go into sort of this ambient sound mode, because each bud has two microphones built in, so it'll allow you to hear everything that's around you. So if you want to have a conversation with someone, you don't have to take the bud out, just hold it, and then you can have a conversation with them, because they actually fit pretty snugly, not a lot of air going through. So, to have a normal conversation, everything would sound sort of muffled, or you would be screaming maybe, and that would be awkward. So, although listening to yourself talk with the microphone in your ear is probably more awkward than screaming, at least to yourself. So they sounded pretty good. I listened to some tunes. I think I listened to a little bit of AC/DC or something like that. And they sounded pretty good once I messed with the equalizer a little bit. I think the bass was a little weak. These have dynamic drivers. So at least in my opinion, the bass was a little weak. I like things a bit more deeper in the tonal range. So, but they sounded fine. The highs were good, mids were good. It just needed a little bit more low end. They are priced at $199, going to launch in Q3. So we don't have a date for them or anything like that, but they are coming. They do look pretty good. The one downside I had for the Buds was that for $200, they each feature like 42 something milliamp hour batteries. So they don't last a long time. And depending on whether you're streaming music or listening to music offline mode will determine how long the earbuds last. So they say
which is the 2 hours.
Sorry?
Which is the 2 hours? Don't they last about 2 hours?
Yeah, well, it's like an hour and a half to 2 hours tops.
And that's in the offline mode?
So in offline mode is where you're going to get the longer playback. If you're streaming, you're going to get shorter playback time, like hour 15, hour 30.
So bad.
Yeah, they definitely didn't give me definitive, just because I think it really depends, right? So
they're basically saying 2 hours, right?
Tops. I mean, they didn't say anything over 2 hours. They said an hour and a half. I was being generous and said like up to 2 hours. So with that being said, the little case that they come in that you clip them into, it sort of looks like, I forget the other product, but there's wireless earbuds that look just like this. It doubles as a charging station and sort of like a external power bank. So when you plug them in, they'll start charging. I think this little case features like a 300 milliamp hour battery. So, and they charge pretty quickly. They'll go from 0 to 100 about 30 minutes. So once they have drained, stick them in there. They'll charge up. You can finish your thing. I mean, the point I made was that if you're going to the gym for an hour, you'll be all right. But if you're doing a marathon, you're not going to be all right. The marathon just takes way too long. Maybe not even a half marathon, you might not even get through. So depending on how fast you are, if you're Usain, you'll have no problem. But if you're me, they're not going to make it. So yeah, the point is $200, not the best battery life, but this is early grade tech right there. I mean, this is
skip them.
Wireless Bluetooth.
I'm sorry, that is so bad.
They look cool and they feel good. So if you can snag a pair for free, definitely do it. But I wouldn't go out and spend $200 on them.
I mean, as cool as the tech is, that they're fully wireless and they, do all this stuff, that is insane. I mean, I get that they're part of the gear line, right? So they're supposed to be for working out, but you can't even get, like, let's say you do wear them just at the gym. So I go to the gym today and I work out for an hour and 10 minutes. Let's say I'm at the gym for an hour and 10 minutes. So tomorrow they won't get me through another session at the gym. Like, I have to charge, and I get it. Maybe you just have to charge them every day, but like my Jaybird Blue Buds X or X2, whatever the hell they're called, they have like 8-hour battery life. Like I could get like a week's worth of workouts on those and not charge. So that is crazy. And like you said, if you go run a half marathon, they're not going to make you through the half marathon.
Yeah. So the other product is the Braggy Dash. I think that's how you pronounce it. So wireless earbuds, they look just like this, and I hear they're rated very well. So although I forget how much they cost, but they're, if you were weighing maybe to get these, check out the Braggy Dash, Bragi Dash. They look just like them. I had a buddy hit me up after I saw these and was like, you know that Samsung totally ripped off the Braggy Dash, right? And I was
Braggy
like,
Dash is $300 though.
yeah, I was like, what the hell's the Braggy Dash? So $300 for the Braggy Dash. You could just get these for $200. Maybe have a little less battery life, but that's fine. You're saving $100.
I've never heard of the Braggy Dash, but I'm looking at them now. The Braggy Dash has 3-hour battery life, it says. And they
So
do
that'll
the
get you
same
through a half
charger.
marathon.
Yeah, they do the same charger thing. Oh yeah, they have a little charger dock thing or something. No. Yeah, they do a little case.
Yeah,
Same deal.
case.
Yeah, they totally did rip off the Braggy Dash, but
Yeah.
there's probably not that much innovation you can do in fully wireless earbud things, right? I mean, they all are going to look the same and work the same. $300 though for those. $350 for the black. $300 for the white. So at least Samsung's $200 undercutting them.
Yeah, one comment on the actual post I wrote saying, after getting the Braggy Dash and being pretty disappointed in its connection stability, I'm really hoping these Gear X are much better. Pretty excited for them. So at least one guy's going to get them. Samsung's making a profit already.
But the other thing is, you can't, and obviously, like I said, these are supposed to be a workout thing. But if you bought these, say, take a trip somewhere, I want to watch a movie, you can't even watch a whole damn movie.
That's true.
You can watch a couple, Game of Thrones. You can watch one Game of Thrones episode, and then you would die with like 15 minutes left in the second episode.
Damn, I would miss the Red Wedding if I was watching that episode.
That's exactly right. You could be using these or the Braggy Dash and not make it through to the Red Wedding. I don't know. I like the idea of fully wireless earbuds. And as someone who runs, like, that would be nice to not have a wire. But I mean, if I have to recharge them every damn workout, that just seems like a pain. And I guess you slot it in the little case and it charges it. It's not like that big of a deal, but and they take a half an hour to charge too. Like if I plug in these X2, these Jaybird X2s, I think in 5 minutes they get like a half an hour worth of charge.
Damn.
I don't know. I'm not sold on these at all. I think they sound like overpriced garbage.
Least you could do is try them, hater.
Yeah, I know. Battery life's all I need to know. Sorry.
All right.
Let's see. So a week ago, or did you have anything else to share? We know when these are coming out, right? Just Q3, $200.
Q3, $200. Take it or leave it.
All right. Well, we'll have more when they finally do launch. Let's see. In somewhat older news, Moto Z modules leaked from Ev Leaks. And he also showed us a new picture of the Droid edition Moto Z. So we're talking about these again, even though it's week-old news, because they're going to announce these next week, probably. Tim will be at press events in San Francisco with Lenovo, who's showing these off. And we got to look at the first module. So one's a camera module, one is a JBL speaker, and one is the Pico projector, which was talked about before. I think the phone is growing on me design-wise. This is the Droid edition, but it looks exactly like the Moto Z. It just says Droid in the camera housing, and it's gold and black, and I actually kind of like the look of it. And I actually am all about their design for modules where you can just, because they're talking about these about snapping the industry or something like that. So it basically means you're going to snap modules onto the back, connect them through the pins that are on there. And that's just how it's going to work. It's probably going to be really, really easy to do. I think it's a pretty brilliant idea. I know there's been some haters over modules and stuff like that. But I like, if this phone is anything like the Moto Xperia or last Moto X phones, it'll have simple, basic Android with the Moto suite. Hopefully the camera's good, but the design looks fairly nice. I mean, it's a little iPhone-ish, yes. But then you'll get like the good Motorola phone, which you're going to get, And then you also get these modules. Like it's like a bonus. I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with what they're doing here.
The design, like I've said a few times, is growing on me. At first, I was like, "Oh, what the hell is that?" And but now it's okay. It's kind of dope. Like I really want that black and rose gold looking one. That looks sick.
I do too.
Although, if that's a Droid phone, then I probably want no part of it at all. So,
and it'll probably be an exclusive Droid color.
Yeah, that would suck. So the attachments for it, the modules, I'm actually pretty excited for that. Like those actually look like modules, right? Or like attachments that serve some good purpose. Adding a big old camera or having a projector, big speakers. I mean, that's cool stuff to me. So I think it's definitely a good thing, not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, I guess I just don't look at it as being a bad thing. Like Motorola for 3 years now has made pretty good phones. Moto Xperia Edition was a really good phone. They finally put a decent camera in it. Sure, it wasn't the best camera ever, but it had a good camera. We always liked their designs. We like their software approach. So I don't see anything wrong with this phone and this idea of modules. Like, assuming they haven't just blown up everything and they're going to throw some garbage Lenovo skin on it, I just assume it's going to be a good phone with mostly stock Android in the Moto suite. And then this camera will probably be better than last year, so it should be good. And then they're going to toss in this like bonus edition of modules. And look, if you don't want modules, don't buy any. Like it's just one of those things, like just don't buy the modules. But if you do see modules that work, this implementation is actually pretty cool. You just slap the damn thing on the back and you added a JBL speaker. Like that's kind of cool.
I know one person who won't be buying modules, and it's one person in our comment section who says the camera module looks like SH asterisk T. Doubt it zooms, given how flat the module is. Probably just for the look, but probably has a better higher res camera module, but no zoom. So
looks like
say if Kyle Ruggles. It totally looks like a zoom camera to me. In fact, it doesn't look all that flat either. It actually looks like a topographical map, dude. It looks pretty big. So
well, and the thing with this module, it's not like, so LG and the G5, they put a camera grip on, but it still just uses the same camera. This is like a standalone camera. Like it's going to cover up the actual camera module on the phone and be its own camera. And it's supposed to be a Hasselblad camera. So it should be a fairly high-end camera module that could potentially take like point and shoot good pictures, not just smartphone camera. Like this is actually a real camera attachment. Sort
of like how this is a Leica phone.
No, this is like a real camera. You're basically attaching a standalone camera to a phone here. This isn't just a grip and you're still using the camera. This is like this. You can tell this isn't just like a cutout where it's going to use the camera. Like this is an actual its own camera. Well, that's actually a pretty big deal.
So if we're talking Hasselblad, then this would need to be $300.
Well, yeah, it's probably going to be expensive.
Yeah. So they'll sell a few.
Yeah, so they'll sell like 6 tops.
You'll buy one.
I'll buy one. I'll be one of the 6 probably.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, but that's the thing though, is at least like, let's say it's $250 or something, right? And then you don't have to buy one of their full cameras and you just attach it to your phone and take pictures that hopefully don't suck. But it's an interesting, and like there's supposedly a picture of a JBL speaker. If you don't want to go shell out for your own Bluetooth JBL speaker, you could turn your phone into one. I don't know. Like I get the idea of modules and I don't think it's a bad thing. And I think Motorola here, Moto, Lenovo, whatever the hell their name is, I think they're at least doing it properly. So
definitely. I guess I would hope that, say they're making these modules and they cost that much, then I would think that they should allow these modules to fit on the next year's phones, right? Like you'd want them to be sort of like future proof, maybe at least 2 years or something. Like that would be extremely helpful.
Yeah, so that's one of the issues you run into, right? With the whole module idea is, okay, well, if I buy modules this year for this phone and I buy a new phone next year, are they going to be okay? Are they going to work? Because that's a big thing, right? If the idea of modules in terms of like if you look at Project Ara, and I know this has nothing to do with Ara, but Ara's idea initially, which Google has now gone away from, is that you buy a shell that can be constantly upgraded. So if Motorola doesn't release a phone that these modules everyone could invest in, if they make a phone next year that they don't work in, that's pretty crappy on their part. Like if you're going to invest in a Hasselblad camera, it better work for more than 1 year.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's my point exactly. You nailed it. Yeah. So I have screenshotted, or I'm screen sharing the attachment so everyone can see. We had someone requesting that, so now everyone can see. And on the left, just so to be a bit more clear, on the left there, we've got the projector. In the middle is the speaker, and on the right is the camera. Obviously, that looks like a topographical map, as I stated.
Yeah.
And I'm back.
Yeah, I mean I think it'll be good. And what's crazy to me is they're going to show this off next week, like next Thursday morning. And the only leaks we really have are a couple pictures from Ev Leaks and him talking about some stuff. But there's been zero other information, which is kind of fun. We don't often, and look, everything could just blow up next week and we may know everything, and we may get some hands-on and stuff like that. But rarely this day and age do we go get this close to an unveiling where we haven't already figured it all out. And we haven't really figured it all out here. So it could be fun. But then again, everything will probably blow up next week and there'll be no fun left.
Sure.
Let's see. So Note 6 or Note 7, we got some renders basically based off of schematics or whatever, probably case schematics or something, and then somebody re-render it. It's USwitch who always does renders of these things. Anyways, we got renders today of what the Note 6 or Note 7 or whatever the hell it's called. So I'm saying that because a report came out a week or so ago that said Samsung may just change it to Note 7 because they want all of their phones to line up with the same name, right? So we have S7, S7 Edge. They want Note 7 instead of Note 6 so that they can kind of just carry the 7, and then next year they could carry 8 along or whatever. I get that. So they may skip Note 6 and just jump right to 7. So anyways, that's why I'm saying we don't know the name. Either way, we got renders today. So the renders basically like a Note with Edge. It's like an S.
It looks like an Edge with. It looks like a Note phone. It's ridiculous. It looks just like a Note 5 in my opinion, but with a slight curve on the left and right edges and a USB Type-C. The end. That's Note 7, Note 6. Although, what the hell are they gonna call it, dude? I mean, like I get that they'd want to do that, like align the phones better. Maybe sell a couple more or something because that they sound similar. They want to be on the same page. I get it. But there is even this new rumor going around. And of course, this might possibly just be due to poor Google Translate or something. But one rumor says that they will release the Galaxy Note 6 and a Galaxy Note 7 that features like the curved display. One with a flat, one with a curve. Rumors, dude.
So like we could get a Note 6 that's flat, and then we'll get a Note 7 Edge that has. I hope they don't do that.
There's no way, right?
I'm kind of betting on there being one phone. It's going to be the Note 7, and that's it. And it's going to have an Edge.
I could, yep, totally. Although I don't know about the Edge.
I just don't know why we need 2 Note phones.
We definitely don't.
Note 7, and it'll just have an Edge. I don't know if it'll say Edge.
Right. And just
to get one phone.
To clarify with Kyle, he says, how can you write properly on a curved display? Technically, the display is not curved or anything. It's flat, on the top, but on the edges, there's a little bit of a curve. Yeah. Again, I will screenshot so everyone can see what I'm talking about. So right there is your curved display. And
it looks pretty subtle curved on this compared to like the S7 Edge, at least in this render, which is not official.
Yeah, exactly. It's more like a Galaxy S6 Edge, maybe, instead of an S7 Edge, which is a bit more drastic, at least in my opinion. This looks pretty flat, except for kind of the curves near the edge. So you can definitely still write on it. That's not going to be a problem. This isn't like a taco phone or like a Galaxy Round or anything like that. This is just a subtle curve, as Kellen stated. So. But to me, I think it looks good.
Yeah, I mean, nice.
If this was it and they just went to produce this, that'd be fine with me.
Yeah, it looks nice. I mean, I'm sure it'll be good. The Note line's been great for a really long time. So,
Has
but
it
yeah, the
though?
name thing.
Yeah, I think it was the Galaxy Note 4 that was total trash.
No, that
Which
was the
one?
first. That was the first metal version. It just had that. It had like a plastic back, but it was the first metal frame. The Note 3 was where
Note
they put the
3
faux
faux leather.
stitching. Yes.
Okay, yes, that one was
Yeah.
trash.
I mean, the phone was fine, but yeah, the design was pretty much trash.
Yeah, the Note 2 was probably the best one though.
Yeah. Let's see. So back on Google News, the information reported this week that Google Home is basically just a Chromecast inside of a speaker. I don't know that this is massive news, and it also sort of makes sense. So basically, what they said was the guy who worked on Chromecast, which is what is his name? It's Marco something, right? Oh, Mario Quiros. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Anyway, he's basically the guy that invented or worked on the Chromecast, and which has obviously been Google's most successful product. I would say probably most successful product, if anything, TV related product or home product. And so he's working now on Google Home, and so it makes sense. Chromecast guy makes Google Home, has a Chromecast inside, but it also makes sense because it works like a Chromecast. It casts things everywhere, right? Like to audio, to video, to whatever, and it controls, and then it can talk to other Chromecasts because they're all like interconnected and whatever. Anyway, I don't think it's that big of a deal. It makes sense, but it was news, so we shared it. I mean, do you care? Or were we expecting like this supercomputer inside Google Home that ran Android or something?
Hell no. I mean, this is exactly what I was expecting, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's basically it's almost like an Android TV minus the Android. It's a Chromecast. That's all it needed to be. That's all it needs. It doesn't need like a ton of processing power or anything like that.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
My hope is though, if it is a Chromecast inside, maybe that means it'll be fairly affordable.
Oh, dude, it's got to be.
Because I think I said initially a couple weeks ago that I was thinking like 250, and I think you were way under that. You were like, no.
I said 150, 99, 150. It's got to be.
So hearing this now, I'm almost thinking more like 150-ish.
Nope.
I mean,
you have to stay.
I mean, I have to stay on my 250, but I guess I should say I'm thinking you're probably more correct than I am for sure there.
Well, I hope so. I mean, just like the Chromecast, it was one of the most widely and quickly adopted pieces of hardware Google's ever released.
Mm-hmm.
And it only costs like $35.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. You know, you price it cheap, and then all of a sudden Google is in every home, and super quick adoption. It makes total sense. So
it does, yeah.
Have it be cheap, and I mean not cheap. I mean just make it inexpensive.
Yeah, just make it 150 instead of like 250 or 200.
Yeah,
undercut Echo, because Echo's a 180. So just make sure it's under that.
Think about all the Google searches people do. Even if they're an iPhone user, people still use Google search. So you allow someone to just put the power of Google search in their kitchen, in their living room, in their bedroom. Think about how many searches they will do. Like they can just talk to Google, and it's more contextual, right? Because it's based on Google Assistant, Google. So people love that. And that's what I think attracts people to Alexa. It's kind of like having a little personal assistant in your home. But she's a little bit limited due to her inability to not need the Prime services. So anyone with an Android phone, it's a must buy because hopefully you're using Play Music and things like that. So for me, it's an instant buy. Like I don't care what it's running, a Chromecast, dongle. I don't care, dude. I mean, it looks cool. It's got the sweet little LED lights on top with the Nexus colors. That's hot. So bring it on.
Bring it on.
Bring it on.
So in other Google news, Google Now on Tap got an update this week that allows you to basically search anything. You can specify text by sort of tapping to select. And then it also now works with images. And on some phones, probably just Nexus phones, you can do like a live Google Now on Tap search when you have your camera up, if you're pointing it at like a bridge or a monument or something like that it may recognize. It's actually very cool. We actually showed it going further where it'll analyze an image, and if it finds text in that, you can then tap on the text in the image and then search Google Now on Tap by that. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, for me, it makes Now on Tap much more valuable because you used to like hold the Now on Tap button, it'd scan the screen. Half the time it wouldn't find anything, or half the time it would find stuff that I didn't care about. But so now you can narrow that by tapping to select, and it's actually sweet. So I probably will start using it more, but I don't, it's rolling out now to everyone. So you should just get it if you have a Marshmallow phone. So
Yeah, I will say I did not have it until I believe this morning when I got an update. So just so everyone knows. Oh yeah,
it's a
there
little
it
slow.
is.
Yeah,
Yep,
it's
this
pretty
is
sweet. It's pretty, yeah. So, and the fact that Google really does just completely capture your whole screen and then let you tap on almost anything is pretty crazy. Like our example was, it was this watch picture it was a picture of an Omega watch on Instagram, and it was crooked, and it said, like, I think it said chronometer on it, and then it had like the depth rating for it and all of that stuff. And it took that, analyze it, and then let you tap on it, the chronometer, which was angled, and it's kind of crazy. So very cool stuff from Google.
Google's always doing cool stuff, although like at the same time, I just feel like people may or could like abuse it, not even abuse it, but just do like gross things with it, like taking a picture of something and then tapping on that. But then Google's computers, deep neural net, is like looking it over, analyzing it, like, ooh, what is this? Just seems odd to me.
I mean, I guess you could Google now and tap penis pictures.
I don't want to. Boobies.
Google's analyzing.
Yeah.
Google's going to come out with a report in 2 years that says the average penis size, and everyone's going to be like, oh my God, it's way smaller than we all thought.
That'd be actually pretty interesting. Huh.
Based off of Google Now analytics.
That's cool. All right.
Like, they could get medical with Google Now by analyzing all of the disgusting pictures everyone starts scanning.
Oh yeah, dude. I take a picture of this rash, and then I tap on it, and Google tells me what the rash is. Thank you, Google. I can skip the doctor visit. I know what this rash is.
I mean, pretty much, right? You just start scanning everything on your body, and Google's like, "That's this." And
yeah. Hashtag mysterious rash. Let's get that trending on Twitter, folks.
Look at all these ideas we're giving Google.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's rolling out now. Google app, update yours, and it should be there. Let's see. So OnePlus 3 news. It's funny how OnePlus and the OnePlus 3 has dropped down to like the 15th topic on our show list, because I don't want to say that no one cares, but they just did such a terrible job last year in their follow-up that it's tough to get really excited. But
yeah, definitely.
OnePlus 3 will be unveiled on June 14th in VR. And you can use any VR headset you have, even a little cardboard, to watch the unveiling. And it's in their space station called the Loop or something. But in big news, no invites. So they're ditching the invite system going forward. Apparently they're a real company now who doesn't just, crowdsource invites or whatever the hell they were doing previously. And you'll be able to buy it for a couple hours in their VR store environment. So if you want the phone really badly, that's where you'll buy it from. And then I think at like 3 p.m. Eastern on June 14th, they're just going to open it up in their normal store. So you can buy it like a normal non-VR human. But so yeah, that's the 14th. So next Thursday, Motorola and Lenovo. Following Tuesday, OnePlus 3. So you got 2 new phones coming up to consider if you're interested. And we have OnePlus 3 pictures and specs at this point because of TENAA. I don't know if you're supposed to say that as Tana. Anyways, it's
Tana.
Yeah, it is some sort of official certification service that equipment needs to go through. It's probably like the FCC a little bit, but it's for China, and they out phones and things like that all the time. So basically they confirmed, I think, 5.5 inch full HD AMOLED display, 4 gig and 6 gig RAM, 3000 milliamp hour battery, Android 6.0.1, connectivity, dimensions. Like, they basically told us everything, and they even showed us pictures of it. And it really does look like the HTC One M9 along with an iPhone.
I had a quick thing. Kyle Ruggles again asks, OnePlus 3 Daydream ready? I'll hold off until I know for sure. There's no possible way that this thing is Daydream ready, because for the Daydream, the VR mode, that is baked specifically into Android N, and the OnePlus 3 will not be launching with Android N. And plus, the OnePlus 3 is probably going to launch running Oxygen OS, so it'll be running Marshmallow. There's no way it's got Daydream ready or anything like that. Maybe in the future it could become Daydream ready, but it's not going to be at launch, period. End of discussion.
Well, I mean, it could be like the
No.
Nexus 6P is Daydream ready,
Yeah, if
and it's running
you
in like
put
an
on
810.
the developer preview that's running Android N.
Well, yeah, but like they're still saying it's ready. So like when Android N launches this summer officially, like the 6P will be Daydream phone.
Sure.
So this could theoretically, when it gets Android N, become a Daydream phone.
Which is fine, but from what we saw with the OnePlus 2 and OnePlus updating phones and with Oxygen OS, I just don't know.
It might be next June or something.
Right. He said OnePlus 3 Daydream ready. It could be in the future. It probably won't be almost certainly at launch.
Well, yeah, at launch, definitely not. But it could, yeah,
Right.
like this fall if they issue an update. And I hope they announce that, right? Because they're launching in VR. And so they're kind of making this VR splash around the OnePlus 3. So hopefully they say, yes, it's obviously running Marshmallow now, but it'll get Android N and it'll have Daydream and it'll be ready for Daydream. I would hope so. I mean, if you're launching a phone at this point, like Motorola, Moto, and Lenovo, they better say the same thing. Like if Moto launches that phone, not that not having Daydream would kill a phone because we're still talking about VR here. But if you're launching a phone now, like you better have talked to Google about what you need to make it Daydream ready once Android N arrives.
Yes. It's a good point.
So,
although
anyways, that's
OnePlus
3.
Does OnePlus care like what Google's doing? Because OnePlus has their own VR headset now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if OnePlus cares, to be honest with you.
Well, I would think you would be a really dumb company if you didn't get behind Google's VR, which your phone runs on Google's software, right? I mean, if you're running Android and Google's doing VR and you care about VR, you should probably make your phone capable.
I probably wouldn't overestimate OnePlus.
But that's the big thing is this is OnePlus we're talking about. And this is the company that told you NFC was trash and that no one needs it in a year where every other company said you need to get into mobile payments.
Yeah. Well, so OnePlus, this isn't the first time they've even done a launch in VR, right? Last year's launch was also in VR, and that went pretty terribly, in my opinion. Wasn't a good experience. Although it was kind of cool. They placed codes inside of the VR that you could like see and then get access to, like for an invite. Oh, here's a code for an invite. Oh my god. That invites are crappy. So I'm really happy that they're moving away from that.
Yeah. So they're apparently doing, I think it's June 6th or so next week. They're going to do in China, maybe only some sort of flash sale where you can kind of pre-order
1,000 units.
Yeah, where you can pre-order the device if you're in China. And then that's it. But otherwise, they said you're going to be able to order the phone on June 14th. We don't know if that's a pre-order or not, but you can order the phone. We don't know if that means you're not going to get it for 3 weeks or if that means you'll get it in a week. Because there's no actual leaks really of this device, I get the feeling you're going to buy it and it will ship in like a month. Like it's just going to be a pre-order and in a month or 2 months and you'll be slotted in. Yeah, I mean, like you'll be slotted in an order, right?
Right.
And you'll get your phone at some point. And I don't think like you're going to buy and get it next week. I think it's going to be a month or two down the road.
But if you share a referral code, your order number will be bumped up and you'll get your phone sooner.
Seriously though, like that's what's going to happen. You're going to place an order and then they're going to say, to get your phone faster, do all this stupid shit.
Yeah, and then also due to overwhelming demand of 5,000 people trying to buy it, it's been pushed back a year. So
yeah, we overestimated demands, and we're now having to tweak a couple things in the manufacturing process, and we're out partying with Segas, and so we just can't get this phone out. But it's still coming. There's no invites. Here is a code, which you can't redeem unless you share with 5 people. And subscribe to our forums.
Yeah, see, now I feel bad because we're underestimating. Like OnePlus has launched phones, and they've been okay. So
their phones are fine, yeah.
Yeah, I have faith that this launch will go off without a hitch, and everything will be fine. Everyone's going to be happy.
I can't acknowledge that with a straight face. Yeah. Without a hitch. All right, so anyway, OnePlus 3, June 14th. Let's see. In sort of interesting news, this was also a week ago, but who was it that reported this? Bloomberg. So Bloomberg reported that Google is getting more annoyed with the fact that manufacturers can't update phones in a timely manner. And so they have apparently created the Android update ranking system by manufacturer and potentially by carrier as well. And they're considering publishing it. So it's kind of like a shame list. And the idea, in theory, I guess, is that if you publish this shame list and show everyone who the terrible manufacturers and carriers are at updating phones, then maybe those carriers and manufacturers will potentially start updating faster because they don't want to be on the bottom of the list. I don't know that would do anything, but I'm also the type of person that says, like, why not do it? Because what if it does help? And look, if anything, it gives me and you and all of our readers who are in the market for a new phone to look at that list and say, okay, so Samsung or Motorola or whoever is the slowest. I like updates. I'll go buy this HTC phone, right? Like, at least you can say. So while it may not change anything, some companies might care. Like HTC clearly seems to care about pushing out updates right now. So HTC might go, yeah, we're on top. HTC can push that and sell that, and then maybe HTC will come back. But like, the idea is that consumers are more informed, and then they can vote with their dollar. And then maybe Samsung will take notice, or Motorola. I mean, who knows if it will actually change, but that's my sort of thinking of the idea.
Well, that's what I think Google's thinking of the idea is too. And I say, oh yeah, like I'm the kind of guy who wants to see the world burn. So I say, publish the list.
Yes.
We were thinking about doing our own list. Like, okay, here are the companies that aren't so good at updating phones. But I mean, Google has the list. So I think they'll publish it. I mean, it would benefit consumers to know like who updates their phones, right? And the thing is, like, it's always sort of changing, right? HTC, Motorola used to be really good about it, but maybe not so much anymore, depending on the phone, right? Especially if they partner with Verizon for it. HTC used to be really good. Samsung used to be trash. Now they're getting better. LG has just always been trash. So
LG's gotten a lot better this in the last year, I would say. The G5, or not the G5, the G4 was updated pretty quickly.
I suppose. I guess not on Verizon again. Although it does seem to get one of the first ones to get Marshmallow. That's true. All right, I take it back. LG, you're awesome.
LG's got their software in general still sucks. But they're getting better at updating, which is a good thing.
Exactly.
Samsung is probably the slowest.
What happened to LG? Like, did the G5 launch? Did anyone buy that?
No one did. But it is available. Thankfully, already running Marshmallow.
Oh, Jim G says Donald Trump will publish the list. Of course he would. He wouldn't though, dude. He wouldn't.
No, he wouldn't. Yeah, so a shame list. I'm totally fine with a shame list.
Totally. Eric Ortiz says LG always comes out first in Poland.
Which they do. True. Every time a new version comes out, LG goes the first. So that they're going to do it again. The G5 in Poland will be the first phone non-Nexus to get Android N. And yes, it will only be in Poland. And no one lives in Poland, so no one will get that update.
Every Polish person is a LG beta tester, obviously.
Sell the G5 in Poland, but it'll get the update first. Like, has anyone actually looked into that? Like, every time it comes out, when they say that, like, Poland's G4s get the first to get Marshmallow, and then like, no one from Poland comes forward to be like, look, I got the update. Yeah, that one does. I don't even know if it actually happens. So.
Gonna have to do some type of investigative journalism into this. Yeah. I'll have to fly to Poland.
I think I'm just gonna pre-write that post ahead of time, and we'll just see if it happens.
That'd be cool.
All right. So in other news, brief news, Sony's Xperia X line, which was announced way back at MWC, is officially coming to the US on June 26th. Well, the Xperia X is for $550, which is way the hell too much money. And the X Performance, which is the phone you might want, is coming a month later for $700, which is insane. These phones have 1080p displays, and the Performance has a Snapdragon 820. The regular X only has a 650. They have 3 GB of RAM, an SD card, and Marshmallow, and smallish batteries, and Sony cameras that are probably okay. They're just, again, your kind of classic Sony phones that won't really impress anyone, or they may have like 4 months ago, but now they're coming here and they're way overpriced, and you probably should not buy them.
Yeah, must be Canadian dollars. $700 for this thing? You got to be kidding me. So definitely
$700
Canadian
for
dollars.
1080p Snapdragon 823 gig RAM, and our specs list fingerprint sensor because the international versions have fingerprint sensors, but I'm pretty sure they stripped those out for here. So you don't even get fingerprint sensor, and you have to spend $700. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. You could right now almost buy 2 Nexus 6Ps with all the deals going on for that price.
Give up, Sony. It's over.
I mean, they really do. They just need to give up. And these phones look fine. I mean, they just look like all of their other phones. But
Yeah, it looks like a Sony phone.
yeah. I mean, seriously, people do not waste your money on that.
I did-
I'm sorry, Sony, but like that is just insane.
Yeah, I kind of dig like the dark one, that kind of space gray one with the pink. Kind of reminds me of like DL
See, I kind of
colors.
want the like pea green version, but
Oh god, that looks terrible.
yes, no, it does. It looks terrible, but it might be fun.
It might be.
Yeah.
So yeah, stay away from those people.
Stay far away from those. And those definitely will not be daydream ready.
Yeah, just stay down, Sony. Stay down. That was a good comment, Kyle. Good job.
Also in phone news, Asus at Computex, which happened this week, big conference, tech conference in China. And Asus always announces stuff there. They announced 3 new phones. They're all under the ZenFone 3 family. And they're kind of crazy, actually. We have the ZenFone 3 Deluxe, which is the higher end one, even though it still only has a full HD display. But
It's deluxe.
yeah, it's 5.7 inch,
knock it.
Snapdragon 826 gig RAM, 23 megapixel Sony sensor, fingerprint reader, big battery, Type C, fancy audio, fancy camera software. I think it even comes with a 256 gig internal storage option, which is awesome. It's one of the first Android phones with that.
Well, it's the world's first full metal smartphone with invisible antenna design,
That's right.
which
That's
is
right. They were bragging about that.
cool. Yeah, I mean, it actually looks kind of dope. The backside reminds me of the OnePlus phones with the
Little texture.
like the grip tape back, which is kind of neat. It's definitely an interesting looking phone. It's different.
It's different for sure. So that's the deluxe, and that is $500 when it goes on sale. Not a bad price for all that stuff, although it's still full HD. It's not even quad HD. The regular ZenFone 3, similar phone, dumbed down a little bit in some specs, obviously, processor, RAM, but it has the same camera, and it's super cheap. It's like $250. So that's a pretty good price. They all have fingerprint readers and things like that. And then they also announced the ZenFone Ultra, which apparently I called the ZenFone 4 Ultra for some reason. Has a 6.8 inch full HD display, but it's only got a Snapdragon 652 processor, which is just ridiculous. And it'll cost $479. A 6.8 inch is a huge phone.
Yeah,
I don't know why you would buy this thing, but you might. Because if you want to game on that with a Snapdragon 652, like good luck. But anyway, so ZenFones, there's lots of them. I used the ZenFone 2 when it first came out, and it was not fun. It was sort of premium, and it had sort of decent specs, and it was sold unlocked on Amazon for a couple $100. And I remember there was some excitement around it. I used it, and it was not fun. So I haven't used these phones. I'm not going to judge them immediately, but I'll just tell you the ZenFone 2 was not a good phone. So I don't have high hopes for them, but they could be good.
Good to know.
All right, so to wrap everything up, this is just because I want one, but Samsung announced a Batman version of the Galaxy S7 Edge a week or so ago. It's not actually called the Batman S7 Edge. It's called like the Galaxy S7 Edge Injustice Edition.
League, whatever, yeah.
And it has to do with Injustice, Gods Among Us, the game that I think is like 3 years old or something. Anyways, they made a Batman phone, and it looks awesome. It's all blacked out, but it's got gold trim and Batman and gold, like bat logos and gold and things. It's just an S7 Edge, but they made it Batman-ish. Comes in a fancy box with like a Batman case and a special Batman VR, Gear VR. It looks pretty awesome.
It looks super sick. I mean, I reached out to Samsung and they said, we do not have any information related to plans to release in the US, nor do we have access, to the phone in general. So It's probably not something. It's kind of like the Iron Man phone, right? You'll see it hit online for like $3,000, and it's limited, probably highly. Although, why? Why? Obviously, people want it. I mean, this is the phone you could sell.
Mhm.
So you sell a package, make it like $1,000, Batman phone, Gear VR, all that stuff. People would buy that stuff, dude. I know plenty of nerds who love Batman. Make a Spider-Man one. Make a Hulk one.
I would
People
drop
buy it.
any phone right now for this phone.
Oh, I totally agree. Even with the ugly like Batman dialer skin, like I don't care. Like I just want.
I would just change the skin.
Yeah. I don't care about any of that. That's easy. So
Yeah, easy to
Batman phone with the gold bat on the back, super hot.
fix. It's only launching in China, Singapore, Korea, Latin America, and Russia. Well, it says others to be announced soon, but come on, they probably made like 50 of these things.
Yeah,
Because it comes in a special edition box with all this stuff. It's probably $1,000, and no one will buy it because it's like $1,000.
yeah. They don't want Batman over there.
Yeah,
Batman-
why don't we want Batman? Why does Samsung think we don't want Batman?
I don't know.
That pisses me off.
It does sort of piss people
But
off.
yeah, we tried to get one. They did send one to The Verge I saw this week, and I think they're the only ones that got one.
Well, why
they're
even
not really
bother,
sending
right? I mean, why make American people like desire it when we can't have it? I
They should
mean,
have given it to us because we would give it lots of love, and then we would give it away.
oh, totally.
The Verge is just going to put it in a closet probably now. Maybe they'll give it away. I hope they give it away. I hope someone gets it.
Unlikely.
Yeah, probably unlikely. But that would be awesome. I feel like someone deserves to use it. And I just don't think they will use it, is all I'm saying.
A Batman fan needs it. So
A Batman fan needs it, yes. In America, because they're not releasing it here. Like, you'd be the only dude in America with the Batman phone.
that'd be
How
kind of
awesome
dope.
would that be? Oh,
John Ledger would get it.
hell with that guy. I don't dislike John
Blasphemy.
Ledger. He's just so annoying.
So we didn't say Uncarrier 11. We didn't talk about that. The last thing, actually, Uncarrier 11 happening June
Speaking
16th.
of John Ledger.
No, 6th.
6th, I think.
Yep.
It's next Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah, it's 6/6/16, which is totally awesome. And
Or is
they're
it Monday? Is it Monday? It's Monday.
Monday.
Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific on Carrier 11. Sorry.
Oh yeah, and they are cranking it to 11. The graphic detailed, explained, going all the way to 11, just like Nigel and Spinal Tap.
Mhm.
And I think it's great. I hope that it has something to do with heavy metal. It won't, but I mean, John's preparing for it. Like it must be nice when you're the CEO. You don't have to pay celebrities to hype crap up. You just do it yourself because everyone loves you. You know.
Have you looked at his Twitter following? He's got like a couple million followers. I don't know why he's that popular. I mean, like, I get he talks a lot, but he's the CEO of T-Mobile. Like, Verizon CEO probably doesn't have 2 million followers. It's crazy, actually.
know.
And I know he wants people to follow him, and he talks to T-Mobile customers. I get it. He does stuff that no other CEO does, and I get that. But it doesn't seem kind of weird that, like, the CEO of your wireless carrier, you follow him on Twitter.
I guess, but at the same time, the end game is results, and that's what he's getting, right? I mean, they're getting more people every other quarter, and he's very charismatic. Like, as much as like some of the stuff he says is like totally batshit crazy, very charismatic, and maybe there's a reason he is bat crap crazy, because he is Batman. He will get the Batman phone.
He is definitely not
Conspiracy
Batman.
theorist. He might be. He had the Batman thing in his locker in the latest teaser he put up. So this dude straight up, he thinks he's Batman. That's what's weird about it.
That's
like, he
what's really
actually
annoying about
thinks he's Batman.
He calls himself Batman, which is really annoying. Like Pink Batman or something. John, I get it. You did some good things for a while. Now you're not doing so many amazing things, but you're not Batman, bro.
I think he's funny. I just like the crap he talks, dude. I mean, because like, who else would do that in this industry, right? Of all stuck up stiff CEOs who are 90. Like, he's funny. He relates to the kids.
I guess I find him funny. Funny sometimes. I think I'm just tired of the show. I just like now a lot of it feels forced. Like he's when he's talking trash. Like, instead of just sharing cool news that his company's doing, he like goes out of his way to talk about other CEOs and trash them. And it just like when it was in the moment where they say something dumb, I get it. But now it just feels like he's going out of his way to be like, yeah, Dumb and Dumber. And then like he says worse things. And I just kind of go, come on, John. It's just like make cool things for your customers and talk about that. And then react when those other guys do something dumb. But don't like go out of your way to just talk shit. I don't know. It's just, it gets kind of old.
I hear you.
I appreciate some of the stuff he's done. Just keep doing good stuff, John.
You got it. I'll let him know.
And you're not Batman.
You're not Batman. I am Batman.
All right. Well, anything else you want to talk about? Copa America tonight. USA. USA. I know you probably don't know what Copa America is.
Yeah, what the hell is Copa America? Is that like a wine or something?
No. I mean, there's probably going to be lots of whining. It's just a big soccer tournament here in the U.S. It's happening here for the first. It's like the biggest soccer tournament in the U.S. since we hosted the World Cup in '94, which is really funny because like it has no impact on World Cup, like getting an invite or something. It's basically just a big soccer tournament that really doesn't mean anything other than there's a bunch of big countries playing in it. It's basically South America versus Central and North America. 16 teams. USA is a part of it.
When does that start?
Tonight.
Oh, see, I had no idea it even existed. Like, no news is reporting it. Very
Tonight. You're just not watching the right news.
I guess I need to watch Soccer's Digest or something.
I mean, like any sports network has been talking about it because they're trying to hype it and make it a big deal.
Interesting. I'm on ESPN sometimes, and all they ever talk about is Steph Curry and LeBron James. So I don't even think other athletes exist besides LeBron James and Steph Curry.
It's Fox that has the rights to it, so ESPN probably not talking that much about it.
All
but
right, so Fox.
USA versus Colombia tonight in Levi's Stadium, your old home turf.
What? All right, cool. All right. I'll check it out.
Yeah, but like Argentina's in it. It's a little messy action. USA. Brazil's in it, although Neymar's not playing, so that's weak.
I was just going to say, is Neymar playing? But no.
No, so that's how unimportant Copa America really is. Because Neymar is like, I'm going to play in the Olympics.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's because Brazil's hosting the Olympics. But anyway, I don't know what else to talk about. It's going to be 100 degrees here in Portland. Tim and I might not survive if we go outside this week. So we'll hopefully see you guys next week. Anything else? Parting words?
Yeah, so Mike is asking that thought we were going to talk about the OnePlus 3. Dude, the show started at 10 a.m. You're an hour and a half late. Sorry, we already talked about We already talked about everything. If you guys show up late, what do you expect?
We did already, Mike. Sorry.
Yeah,
we had lots of nice things to say.
Yeah, this is our longest show of all time, and you missed everything.
It's a pretty long show. Hour and a half almost.
Yeah.
But Mike, it was about the 15th topic. So if you just wait till we're done and just jump right into about the hour mark, you'll probably hit the OnePlus, maybe the hour 15 mark. You'll probably hit OnePlus stuff.
Yeah. Kathleen asked a question, but I'm having troubles figuring out what she says. I really want to know why they're making the Samsung sit down totally for 3 hours. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I would love to answer any question. If you guys have a question, tweet it at us, and I'll be more than happy to reply.
For sure.
Shameless plug.
All right. One other random note. Our Instagram account is pretty active these days. And because it's so active, we rewarded a whole bunch of people with free Google Play credit because they're followers on Instagram. So if you want to follow us on Instagram, which is droid_life, just like our Twitter is, you might want to follow us there because we do give away stuff. And when we give away stuff on there, we don't necessarily talk about it anywhere else. So just a little pro tip there. Follow us on Instagram and you might just win free stuff.
Yes. Yeah, free stuff is good. We may have another contest going up there like next Monday to be exact. So I can't say what it is or anything like that. It's pretty cool. No big deal. But yeah.
It's pretty cool. All right, cool. Well, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. This was episode 111. We're Droid Life. Peace.